Hey, just Mark here. So, we've had a couple of tough videos the last little while and some very serious topics. So tonight I wanted to focus on something a little bit different. Now, no matter what's happened in my life, good or bad, I always have hope. And maybe not so much hope, but faith. Faith that things are always going to get better. You know, I've got a heart that's hopeful. I've got a head that's full of dreams. You know, and sometimes getting to where I want to go and the things I want to do can be challenging and frustrating because they push your boundaries and they push your limits to get where you're hoping to go. And maybe you're feeling that way right now, such as I am. You know, when I say I go into things with a hopeful heart, it's that I look for optimism. I look for the right ways that I'm doing things to get where I want to be. And I'm learning as I go along, especially now that I'm documenting a lot of stuff, you know, here on video and even, you know, in more notepads again like I used to, is that every challenge is also producing little wins and little steps along the way, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. You know, I mean, I by no means am a perfect human being. And just like most of you, I have dreams. And sometimes those dreams got shattered, but new dreams came along. So one of the biggest dreams I have, where my heart is very hopeful, is that I have a dream of owning a home again. You know, if you've watched it in my previous videos, you'll know that I lost my home in a separation about 1.5 years ago. And well, a little less than that actually, because we sold it in February of 2024. But I have hope and faith that I'm gonna get that home again. But to get to that point, I've also had to set goals and humble myself, knowing that I have to be patient. Things aren't gonna happen right away or as quickly as maybe I want them to or hope them to be. You know, but that's the thing. No matter where I go, no matter what I do in life, no matter what I've been through, I've always held out hope. I've always held out hope for a better future. Even though, and when I say future, I don't necessarily mean like years down the road. I also talk about things like, you know, maybe a better week, a better month, a better year, you know, even going as far as thinking of like a better day. And when you look at someone like myself, I've always been a bit of a dreamer. And my head is so full of so many dreams. Things that I think I can do, things that I want to do. And heck, I got notepads full of dreams that I wanted to attempt over the years, but didn't. And a lot of that came from my own insecurities as to, you know, who I am, what I do. And I'd let those insecurities stop me from doing those things, you know, and I think it's great to be hopeful. I think it's great to have dreams, but dreams don't become a reality unless you take action to get there. So I've talked a couple times about wanting to buy a home. So what am I doing? The truth is, I've started buying almost nothing, except for, unfortunately, I still eat out a little bit too much. But I've started watching my budget a lot more. I've started paying attention to where my money is going. I've gone back to my old budgeting style of every dollar has a job. I don't know where I learned that from, but I basically went with that because if you give every dollar a job right down to zero every paycheck, and that includes savings, then at least you're doing something and you're going somewhere with it, right? And you're not just throwing money at nothing. There are so many things I would love to go and buy right now, but I'm not. The only expenditure that I allow myself is to go on vacations, because I think that's very important, especially in today's world where there's so much going on. But I have stopped online shopping. I have stopped going to the malls or the stores just to look around. Because that leads to purchases that I don't want, and I'm never going to get my dream if I'm constantly buying stuff. You know, $100 here and there adds up. And I know that being a single individual, saving to buy a home has a lot more challenges to it. Because if I really, really want to get there, then I have to sacrifice more than if I had a partner. Because I don't have their income. I don't have their savings as well to pitch in. You know, other dreams that I think about is, and this is more of a retirement thing now, but I really want to see more of the world, experience different cultures. You know, when I went to Italy last year, it was just like one of the most amazing things in the world. And I've always been a big dreamer. And some of them were definitely unattainable dreams, but the dreams I do have now as an older adult are ones that I know I can do. I just have to put my mind to it. So when you're walking forward in life, even if you're going through a hard moment, think of the dreams you want to obtain and think of how you're going to get there. And you don't need to be like, just put the dream on a piece of paper. No, write down the small goals that are going to get you there bit by bit and celebrate those small wins, because that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't go and celebrate those small wins. They simply write things down, keep them going, don't celebrate them, and then they kind of give up because they don't think they're really feeling the progress. And that's where I am a little bit different, because I want to feel the progress in my life and I want to feel the challenges and the differences. And I don't know, becoming what I want and getting where I want is definitely harder than it seems some days. But I know for myself that I'm going to get there, and I need to make sure that I'm not allowing myself to be frustrated and allowing myself just to see the positive. Because there's so much positive around us. You know, take in the beauty around you, talk to people around you, celebrate things that are going on. I mean, today's election day in Canada. I went and I voted. Now I'm taking a walk. And no matter what happens, I'm hoping that I can celebrate the fact that a lot of Canadians actually got off their butts and voted tonight, because it's one of the most important elections in, truthfully, quite some time. And I think they even said on the radio, it's almost like a generational vote this time. And there are people like me, the Gen Xers and the Gen Zs, and I'm hoping that these Gen Zs and these millennials are really paying attention to what's going on. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge someone for who they vote for, because that's not my business. But I hope people vote for the parties that they want to. We all have hope for a brighter future in our own countries. We all have hope for a brighter future in our own lives. And I guess tonight I just wanted to encourage any of you who might be watching to follow those dreams, set those goals, have hope, have dreams. Because honestly, I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm very hopeful and excited. And I want to feel those dreams, and I want to attain everything that I've ever dreamed of. My future is not going to be what I thought it was going to be. And that's okay, because I have a chance now to create a brighter future, one even more exciting than the one I had imagined before. And that excites me. So tell me down below, what excites you about the life you have, the life that you're working towards? What are some goals that you've set? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What do you have faith that will go right for you? Because I'm seeing some really cool people who've given some good advice in the comments already. And I gotta say, the people who are getting involved on this channel are making me smile, because it's encouraging to see that I'm not the only one both succeeding, but also having struggles along the way, but pushing through those barriers. Anyways, those are just my thoughts tonight. I hope you're all well, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.